Hello everybody, it's David Traylor of the Traylor Law Firm, and I'm leaving the top floor of the parking garage at Frank Crowley Courthouse. I like parking up here on occasion, especially when it's really nice, but sometimes when it's brisk or cold, or even when it's raining sometimes. I just like parking up here. It's easy to remember where I was, and I can see the skyline, like right there, when I go in and out of the building. So I like that. And today, in particular, I came up here to pass one case, but also I've got a second person who just got put into custody, I think last night. Let's see. Last night? No, actually, he's been in custody a while, but I just learned of him being in custody today. So I came up to get offense reports on his cases, his new cases. He's got a probation violation, and then he's got an arrest from several months back that he claims is not him. And though all signs look to that being a dubious claim, I'm going to go check that out. So I have to go to one of the jails where he was arrested originally and get a mugshot to see if it was him or not. Because if it wasn't him, his situation gets a little better. If it was him, his situation is about as bad as it can be. So, can you hear my child's teapot back there? I really hate having that running. Oh, it's all the way back here. Alright, there it is. Sorry, gotta decline that call. Okay, there's the teapot. Now, to shut it up, I just have to turn that switch. And then, it has more battery for my daughter, so when she wants to play with it, she can, and I don't have to replace the battery as fast, and it won't bother me during my whole ride, and you won't hear it during this video. So sorry for the interruption, but it was absolutely necessary to shut that thing off. So yeah, I headed to another jail to get some information that hopefully will help, but I'm not holding my breath. And then I'm gonna go pick up my daughter from her school. One of my daughters. The other daughter's at home. And I've got a gallon of alkaline water rolling around in the floorboard of the car because I forgot to take it in from the grocery store. So that'll be happening the rest of my trip, unless I pick it up and move it. Right now I gotta pause the video because I'm gonna pay for parking, and the guy's gonna want to talk about the Cowboys, and so I'm gonna have to pause it for that if he's there. I don't think he's there. I'm gonna pause it anyway. Okay, so I'm back in business here, on the road, about to hit the highways to get to the jail that I'm going to. And I wanted to talk about compassion and how it's important to have an attorney, especially in a criminal matter, who has compassion for your situation, your circumstances. It's a lot more important than I think most people realize. Even other attorneys, I think it's more important than they realize. You know, you can have all kinds of technical skill, legal knowledge, know the case law, know the people at the courthouse and how things work, and all of that. Be a great negotiator, but if you don't have compassion, I think it really impacts your ability to present your client's case, present their situation in a way that will help others understand them better and make decisions in their favor. Because in the end, criminal defense is almost entirely about, you might say it's entirely about this, but I think there could be arguments that it's not absolutely entirely. It's almost entirely about making or persuading other people to make decisions in your client's favor. Whether that's, I mean, it can be early on. You can be persuading the person who's calling the police and trying to file a report. If you're involved early enough, you can possibly persuade that person. But normally it starts with either a police officer or a detective, and a lot of times we're not, you know, me and other attorneys who do this are not hired in time to have that discussion with the person who's gathering evidence and considering filing a case. So, but if we do have that opportunity to talk to them, sometimes it's possible to persuade them not to file a case. And I've had that happen many times. And it's, you know, for the client, it's the best possible outcome to keep a case from being filed in the first place. It avoids a lot of stress and problems and expense. You usually avoids them being jailed. So, but usually we're not hired until after that point, when the case is on its way. They've already been arrested, and the case is on its way through the system, through the pipeline, up to the DA's office, and that's when we'll have our first opportunity to persuade. So, persuading someone on that, in that capacity, to make decisions in favor of our clients, is critically important. And it's critically important at every phase of the case to have the ability or try to persuade someone. Now, sometimes there are situations where no amount of persuasion is going to make a difference because of the facts of the case, what happened, what's alleged to have happened, what evidence they already have. I mean, I can't always convince an intake attorney over at the DA's office to drop a case. In fact, it's rare that I can. So a lot of times that effort's not even made because it's going to be a useless effort. But there are times when it's appropriate to make that effort, and that's the first person to persuade. So once it becomes something goes beyond intake, it goes either to the grand jury or straight to court, depending on whether it's a felony or misdemeanor. Then that's the next opportunity to persuade, either a grand jury prosecutor, a grand jury, or a felony or misdemeanor court prosecutor, the trial court prosecutor. Then they're the next party to persuade. In probation violation matters, sometimes the probation department needs a little persuasion. And then you've got the judge, obviously, and juries that come into the picture, depending on how far the case gets and how things go. So, but if you don't have compassion for your client's situation, it becomes, I don't know how you would persuade fully and effectively on their case. If you're just looking at case law and fact patterns and what did versus didn't happen and what the evidence does versus doesn't show, I think that misses a lot of the picture, misses a lot of the story. Because I've gotten cases dismissed solely because of compassion for the client and being able to relay that to the party that makes the decision to dismiss the case. I've said this before, I don't sign the dismissals. I don't sign the not guilties. I'm not the one who goes in there. I can decide that's what I think is justified or correct on the case and then try to work towards that. But when it comes down to actually getting a case out the door with a great result, I'm not the one who signs that paperwork. I have to rely on someone who's working hard, trying to do their job correctly, to make that decision. And I have to persuade them to make that decision. So there's no magic involved, really. It's just, but that's why compassion is so important, because sometimes you might say it's about putting yourself in the client's shoes, but really it's about being able to put yourself in their shoes to understand them, so that you can persuade another person to understand them, and maybe by putting themselves in the shoes. Or you don't have to put them in the shoes, so to speak. You can have people understand a lot of different ways, but the key to that is understanding yourself. And compassion is hard to shop for, I think, when you're trying to pick an attorney. You don't have a lot of lawyer advertising that talks about compassion. They talk about aggression. I'm an aggressive attorney. They talk about their years of experience and that sort of thing. And maybe you think you want an aggressive attorney, but I do things a little differently. I don't like to polarize my results by being aggressive. I don't like to have it so binary that it's either on or off, because I've been going in there just hammering. And that leaves a lot of opportunities, a lot of possibilities. If you polarize your opposition, you miss a lot. So that's one thing. So I think compassion is certainly so much more important than aggression. Now, there is a time for aggression. There certainly is. And sometimes that time for aggression is immediately, right off the bat. But the way I practice law, it's very rare that aggression is called for right off the bat. So, let's see what else. So yeah, it's tough to shop for compassion, and I don't know how you would do that. I think you have to look at reviews and results to decide on that sort of thing. And even then, it's going to be incomplete information and maybe not the best. I don't know how you decide. I know that compassion is something that can be faked. It's something that, it's like racism is hidden. I think the lack of compassion is probably also hidden. You won't necessarily be able to tell that your lawyer, the one you're thinking about hiring, doesn't understand you or your situation and looks down on you and talks badly about you behind your back, perhaps. Although I think there's probably not a lot of that going on, because I don't think most attorneys have time or the inclination to talk about their clients behind their backs or outside of their professional capacity. Of course, what I think, I think the best of people. I generally tend to think the best of people, so believing that doesn't happen is probably naive. I've seen it happen. I've seen people talk badly about their clients, and I like to meet people where they are in life. Everybody's got a set of circumstances, conditions, things about themselves, character traits, character flaws, or character strengths that have brought them to where they are when you confront them, or not confront them, when you encounter them. So my clients, when they walk in the door, they have everything that led up to that moment, to them being there, and including the thing that they're there talking to me about. So I don't want them to apologize for where they are. I don't want them to apologize for the position they're in. I don't apologize for those sorts of things. It's where are you now, and what can we do to move you forward or put things behind you, get you back to a better spot. That's the focus. What do we do from here to get you in a better spot? So, and that it circles around back to compassion again. So don't underestimate how important that is. And with that, I guess I'm going to close the video, because I don't have a lot more to say about it. I do want to say that it's only a free country if you're not in jail, and so if you get arrested, searched, seized, you got a court date, you're bonded out, you've got an indictment or other charges, or if you're just being followed, or maybe you think you're being followed, whatever the case, call us and we'll see what we can do to help. And have a good day, a great week, great weekend if it's here, and all of that. Enjoy your families, enjoy the place you live, as long as you're not in jail. If you're in jail,